Hello and welcome everyone. It is Feminine Fridays. Hi, Diane.
Hey, Laura, good to be here with all of our friends, kicking off another weekend.
We are kicking off another weekend, another Feminine Friday time where I'm Laura Rubenstein and this is Diane Halfman, and we love talking about things, the feminine from a new paradigm. People don't consciously talk about this, and I do, and I know you do. So as we do every week, we love to get into a topic that is also presented on the Feminine Power cards, right? That kind of spurs our conversations. That's the deck I created. So I'm going to spring on you one of the more challenging cards in the deck. And sometimes I'll even pull it out of the deck so I don't accidentally pull it.
Are you in deck avoidance?
Deck avoidance, yes, card avoidance. So it's about anger. But here is a really interesting take on it. And actually, it's not that bad. This is not the one I was thinking of. Anger is a message to understand your fears and take care of yourself. Actually, it's a pretty cool card. Yeah. Anger is a message to understand yourself and take care of your fears. Understand your fears and take care of yourself. Same, different. So the on the back, we have different things, which are the practices, and there's three types of practices. There's affirmations, there's things to do, and there's contemplations. So affirmations, actions, and contemplation. This is a contemplation card. And so the question to ask yourself to contemplate, to either go into meditation with or to journal with is, and it goes along with the front of the card about anger. How can I channel my anger such that the result is positive for myself and others?
Mm-hmm.
How can I channel my anger so the result is positive for myself and others? Because so many times we feel anger and we just want to get that energy out, and we wind up hurting
Right.
people.
Yeah, right. I love that because, anger is such it's a forceful emotion, right? And so if we look at, a lot of times people will get themselves, a lot of athletes will do this, they'll get themselves almost in an angered state to have access to their physicality, to their movement, to their emotions, to really utilize this energy. I mean, think about if we're trying to do something explosive or energetic, to be able to, how do you rechannel that energy in a way that it actually you leverage it? And I think if we're looking at what's this energy really showing me and what's it doing for me, it's a way to actually leverage that energy.
Yes, that's certainly, people do use anger that way. If you're using it consciously, you can get yourself anger to get yourself to do something. Anger itself, a lot of time, is done that way. But I'm actually inviting everyone to take this when you feel that anger is like, what do I do with it? I don't want to realize that you have the potential to hurt someone or to heal yourself and others with that, taking that message from that anger. So you have to really deal with it. If you're not willing to deal with it, you'll likely hurt somebody. It's going to come out in other ways. If you're trying to suppress your anger, a lot of times it turns into depression. That's anger turned inward. And when so you're hurting yourself. But if you're just like, if you have venom, then you're hurting other people. So I was in this situation, for example, and I was in a very tender place, and a friend came to visit me, and it was after a breakup, and this was years ago. And but I remember it like yesterday because it was such a good demonstration of this. And she said, let's go to the movies. And I'm like, okay, let's go to the movies. And I said, as long as it has a happy ending, because I'm in this tender place and I really need a happy ending. And she goes, Hollywood, they're all happy endings. And she said, I want to see Unfaithful or something. I think that was the movie, with Glenn Close, and it did not have a happy ending, needless to say. It got me very agitated and very angry. And on top of and I'm going to mute you for a second because I'm getting a little echo, and then I'll unmute you. So it got me angry, and it stirred up all these sensitive emotions in me. And I was just like, I just did not want this experience out of this movie. I wanted to feel good. I wanted something to nourish me. And so I didn't say a word going home because I was like, all I said, no, I said a few words, but, and I tried not to say anything too hurtful. I just said, I did not need to see that. And I just kept my mouth closed, and she didn't say anything. And she was staying over at my place. And I went into my bedroom and I started crying and I started journaling and I started journaling and crying and hitting the pillow, and all I knew to do was to say, I need to channel this emotions. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know what they are. I need to explore these emotions. I just am feeling stuff, but I really want to be aware. So I started doing that. And then I said, trying everything I can to shift the energy here. And then I said, okay, maybe something physical. So I ran a super hot bath and got in the bath. And then I got out of the bath and I journaled and cried some more. And by the end of that, probably 45 minutes to an hour, I was in such a different place. I was in a place where I had softened. I had gotten through, like it was cathartic. I had gotten through all these sensitive energies, and I was so grateful. I got to a place of gratitude that my friend was there, that when I emerged, I could spend some girlfriend time with her. I wasn't alone. So it was super amazing. And that I was able to take this energy and channel it. And I got clarity, and I got things out that I didn't know were in. And I cried. And so there was physical release, and the hot bath took my body muscles into a different state too. So things got released in a healthy way. And then I came out and I said thank you to my friend. I said, I'm so grateful you're here. I know I didn't want to see it, but I just got a chance to process a lot, and I'm actually kind of grateful we went to that movie. So that is what I mean by channeling the energy. Like, think of things you can do. What can you do that is constructive, that will be helpful, that will help you move through this, and take it on as your own, even if somebody else caused it, right?
Right. Yeah. Am I unmuted?
You are.
Okay. I just wanted to check in there. So one of the things that if you think about any movement or shift that people are here doing, it typically started with anger, right? If something didn't provoke you, if something didn't rile you up, if something didn't, really charge you, you wouldn't do anything about it. So it's those things that trigger us that give us the opportunity to do something different. So I love how, this conscious observation of anger, of where we can really start looking at how is it that we can not only just utilize it, but to see, like, how is it that, how's it moving through us? Because emotions are meant to move through us, right? It's when they get stuck is when we get disease or we feel depressed or things happen. But when we allow them to actually surface and let them move through, this could be something that you can actually do something about.
Absolutely.
So I know for myself, I would feel anger when I worked on the police department, and I would see that certain things would happen in my community or to, people, and I would feel like this sense of anger of like, how is this happening, in my life, in my, in the world. And I had to really, for me, this is why I would work out after work, right? Because I needed to move that energy through me so that not only so I could sleep, but that how I would then interact with other people off duty, right? And had to take responsibility for the things that I witnessed, right, and to be able to let them move through so that I could show up in a conscious way. Yes. So many times things hit us and we have these reactions, right? We aren't always conscious going, oh, I think I'll experience some anger right now, right? It just kind of, catches us sometimes off guard. It's what we do with that anger is what really sets us apart as conscious human beings, to really be that example that there are no bad emotions. They're just our emotions, right? And we get to utilize them in however serves us and allowing us to grow.
And I love that you say utilize them in however serves us, because it serves us and others. If we take a stance and a philosophy in our everyday living that we don't want to hurt other people, and we want to bring more healing into life and our experiences and other people in our life, then you have to take on your anger in that way too. And so pause instead of react. Pause, and if the best thing you can do if somebody else is in this room or you got angry is to cop to it and say, I'm really triggered or angered right now. Let me exit. I need to exit from right now because I'm no good to you. I'm no good to me. I need to go deal with this on my own. Otherwise, I may hurt you, and I don't want to do that. And so you excuse yourself for the situation as fast as you can so that you do not hurt, and do not say anything else like, because you did this and you did that. And if you're in the blame mode is going to hurt you and other people. Being in blame doesn't heal. I'm sorry to say it. It's a victim state. You're giving your power away. And I really invite you to take this on, that anger is a message for you to understand what you're afraid of. So what was I afraid of in this scenario when I didn't want to see a movie that was going to trigger me? I was afraid of going down a deep, dark place. And I kind of did, but I did it with the intention of healing. So I didn't get drowned in that. So, if you're getting angered, there's usually a fear underneath it. And so that's for you to take ownership of versus blaming somebody else for triggering your fear, addressing that fear head on. And then it spirals out of control into this blame, shame, judging, anger, depression, hatred game. And we got to stop it. And it starts right here. If you want anger to stop being put out in the world, then we got to start right here and deal with our anger and turn it into love.
Right. Well, and what structures are we creating? Like, is there somebody we have to talk to? Is there some support around that? I mean, it's one of the reasons why I'm here in Montana, is working with, teams here, because, the leadership team that is here, they're constantly dealing with their teams, but they don't get an opportunity to connect with each other and see what were the triggers that were happening with them and how's it affecting the team and where they're going and what things are happening. So it's important to have, structures in place, whether that's with your friends or in business or whatever that looks like, where you can vent that anger, right? That you can actually have a safe space to have those kind of conversations so that there isn't a lot of assumptions, or then, you're suppressing or you're not speaking your truth, so really how those things flow through us, we want to make sure that, we have that support. And that's one of the things that Laura and I provide here as well, is being part of the conversation. So we would love, as always, for you guys to contribute and to not only share this, but to put in, what are some of the things that have come up with you? Like, what are some of the tools that you use to diffuse your own anger? Or when you're around other people who are in a space of anger, how is it that you hold that space? Or how is it that you are helping shift the energy of anger in the world?
Yeah, I'd love to hear from people on how do they deal with anger. What have they noticed other people do that they wish they could do, or that they want to totally avoid? And to the point of having a support or structure in place, I totally agree with this. In fact, a little tip here, you could get an index card or the back of a business card that's blank, or cut up something that's about business card side so you can keep it in your wallet. And on it, put a list of those structures or behaviors or things you can go to when you're in the heat of the moment of this anger. So one could be breathing. It could be as simple as closing your eyes and taking 3 slow breaths in and out, counting to 4 in, holding for 4, counting for 4 out. It could be just as simple as that, or make up a number that you want to hold for and inhale. It doesn't matter. Just bring your attention to your breathing. That's like the easiest thing, have a name of a few venting partners on them. Call this person, call that person, call this one, or texting partners and say, I need venting time only. And venting time is, thanks, Susan, is about being able to tell the partner, I need to get something off my chest and then I don't want to discuss it. I don't need advice about this. I just need you to listen, hear me, and say, got it. And then we're not going to talk about it. But so that's a venting partner. It's not really a discussion or therapy session.
Right. That reminds me of Alison Armstrong. She talks about holding the trash can. like where someone's just like, you're just here to hold the trash can for me while I just throw up all the things that are happening to get it out so that you feel better.
Right. So that's another, journaling and the things I did in my story earlier, journaling, crying into a pillow, taking a bath, dancing, working out, like you said, going for a walk, taking a drink of water. There are 10 different things you can do. Doesn't cost any money. Don't have to be in a special environment, except if you're going to take a bath, then you need a bathtub or a hot shower, or you need to stand on your hands, whatever you do to deal with energy, and then take some time to reflect. It's amazing. A few things happened. I got triggered, and you know what? I didn't respond. It was good. The response, I said, okay, we can talk about that later, because I wanted to say, no, you're putting me in an awkward position. I can't believe you're doing this. I spent all this time, and now you're quitting on me and blah, blah, blah. So like things happen in life, and it's amazing what time and space does. And when I gave it the time and space, opportunities came in. And I thought of the solution. And then by the time I had the conversation with the person who caused this, in a sense, then I was in a place like, okay, I'm letting it go. I just let it go because I dealt with my own emotion around it. So if we can get the emotion out of it, we can have way more sane conversations and feel close to people still, instead of pushing them away. So yeah, and Dale saying listening to a podcast while walking. There you go. Venting partners, smile. Thank you for that. Definitely. Podcasts can give you another perspective on things, make you think about, how your story is, maybe not as challenging as somebody else's story. So it gives you distance from like, oh, well, I got really upset, but compared to what this person went through, I can have a little bit better sanity and perspective around.
Yeah, definitely. So good. Great conversation.
Yeah, great conversation. Thank you. I know you have lots to do, and we need to keep channeling it. Just the message is, the invitation is to, how can you channel your anger such that the result is positive for yourself and others? So we're here to heal, and anger can be a healing force if we pause. So everybody pause, take a breath before you respond. Exit the room if you know if you're just seething, it's not a good time to talk. Not a good time, because what's going to come out of here is not coming from the holistic point of view. It's coming from a fight or flight, let me hurt you kind of place, and it just doesn't work. We have too much chaos and anxiety in the world as it is, and we're not about that. And I know nobody listening here really wants a more chaotic world. Oh yeah, and so Dale's saying she listens to Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he's a master of that. He's totally different perspective on everything. He'll give you a beautiful idea. Thank you, Dale. So thanks for tuning in. And as always, we're here usually on Fridays, and just giving you another perspective as well. So come back and listen to some more Feminine Fridays podcasts. I guess we can call these live casts. They're podcasts, but they're live streams. So I'm putting them all up on the Feminine Power Cards page. Some of them are here on my personal, and they're on your personal as well, right?
Yep. Yes.
All right.
Perfect.
So,
good.
Bye for now, everyone. Thanks for watching.
All right. Bye-bye. See you. Voila.
Voila.